Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Today we're going to be talking about NASCAR. We're going to talk some about the race from this past Sunday at New Hampshire. Of course, if you're a long-time NASCAR fan, you know that New Hampshire used to be called Loudon, but since the Loudon racetrack is in New Hampshire, they modernized it, and now they just call it New Hampshire. But we're also going to be talking about silly season stuff. If you're a NASCAR fan, you know that usually from about the halfway point of the season on, you start hearing all the talk about what driver's losing a ride, or what driver's getting a new ride, what driver might be retiring, and all that kind of good stuff. And the reason why you hear it about the midway point of the season on is because the NASCAR season is so long that they really truly don't get but about 2 months off. So there's no way you could do all this stuff in the off season. There's not enough time. So a lot of this stuff gets done during the season. So I waited till Thursday to talk NASCAR so that I could decide what silly season stuff was worth talking about and what's honestly not worth talking about. We'll talk about some of the silly season stuff as soon as we talk about the race itself. Christopher Bell won the race this past Sunday at New Hampshire. It was his first win of the year. The 14th different driver to win a race this year. Chase Elliott came home second, followed by Darrell Wallace Jr., Martin Truex Jr., and Kevin Harvick. And 6 through 10 was Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, and Kurt Busch. But again, Christopher Bell is the 14th different driver to win a race this year. And if you're a NASCAR fan, you know that after 26 races, the points reset, and we start with 16 drivers that will compete for the championship. And in NASCAR, they call it the chase for the cup. And of course, after 3 races, we're down to 12. After 6 races, you're down to 8. And after 9 races, you're down to 4. And those final 4 will compete for the championship in the 36th and final race of the season and the 10th race in the chase for the cup. But I bring that up because Christopher Bell winning is the 14th different driver to win this year. Now, so far during the chase, we've never had a year where 16 or more drivers won a race. Most years, there's 13 or 14 drivers that win, and pretty much if you win a race, you make the playoffs. And then the final 2 or 3 spots are filled by guys who accumulated the most points without winning a race. And there's a chance we may not have another new winner this year. We may just have 14. But with 14 winners already, chances are we're going to have at least 1, if not 2, more winners between now and the 26th race. And if we get past 16 and get to 17, then you'll see whoever it is that will be the unlucky person to be the first ever driver to win a race and not make the chase. I don't think we'll get past 16, but there's a chance we might get to 16. But anyway, on to the silly season stuff. Kyle Busch still has not found a sponsor, and as of last night, around 10:30 or 10:45, the Toyota organization is saying that even if they can't find Kyle Busch a sponsor, they would like to still have him in that car next year. He's been in the 18 car for 15 years now. It just goes to show how hard it is to find a sponsor. Kyle Busch is the only driver right now in the Cup Series that has more than 1 championship. We have a few drivers that have 1, but he's the only multi-time champion that's currently driving. Of course, Kyle has 2 championships, and a lot of it is the fact that Kyle Busch, when he first started, he was young, he was arrogant, he was a prick, And so many people like to live in the past and can't move on, and they still hate Kyle Busch for the way Kyle Busch used to be. So I think a lot of the sponsors are afraid that they won't get their money in return, so to speak, because they're sponsoring a driver that nobody likes. But in reality, Kyle Busch is actually a very, very popular driver, but he's also very, very hated. Not many people are neutral on Kyle Busch. You either love him or you hate him. The people that can stop living in the past and just realize how good he is like him. The ones that still live in the past and think, boy, Kyle Busch was a jerk 10 years ago, they still hate him. But it just goes to show how hard it is to find a sponsor. But Kyle Busch wants a lot of money, and I can't blame him. He's the best driver on the track, so of course he's going to want a lot of money. So they may not be able to pay him what he wants if they cannot find him a sponsor. But he is coming out and saying that he is talking to other teams, so it doesn't look like there's no danger in Kyle Busch retiring. But he may not be in the 18 car, and if he is, he may be in the 18 car with no sponsor for a while. I'm sure eventually they'll find him a sponsor. We also have Martin Truex Jr., who has re-signed with Joe Gibbs Racing to drive the 19 car again next year. And Ty Dillon, of course, he is the brother of Austin Dillon, is leaving the 42 car, which of course is Petty GMS Racing. Richard Petty is now a minority owner in that team. He still owns a little bit, but he is the minority owner. I think he owns 25%, and GMS owns 75%. But probably the biggest news is that Tyler Reddick, who just got his first career win a couple of weeks ago, everybody thought he was going to stay in the 8 car for Richard Childress Racing for a long, long time, because why would Childress let him go? Because Austin Dillon sucks, and Childress only has 2 cars right now. But after 2023, heading into 2024, Tyler Reddick is leaving Richard Childress Racing, and he's going to join 2311 Racing, which is interesting because 2311 Racing is only 2 cars, and of course it's pretty much a brand new team as well. But if Tyler Reddick is coming over there, does that mean that they're letting Darrell Wallace go? Does that mean that Kurt Busch is retiring? Or does that mean that 2311 Racing is going to become a 3-car team? We don't know any of that right now, but the rumor is, and we'll wait and see if it happens or not, but the rumor is that since Ty Dillon is also Richard Childress's grandson, and he already has Austin Dillon in the 3 car, the rumor is that since Tyler Reddick is leaving after next year, that Richard's going to let him go ahead and go after this year. And since Ty Dillon is leaving Petty GMS Racing, Ty Dillon will be in the 8 car next year. So the Childress organization will have 2 cars, the 3 car and the 8 car, and it'll be Richard Childress's grandsons, Austin and Ty, in those cars. If that does happen, does that mean that Tyler Reddick is going to go somewhere for 1 year? Or does that mean he'll go to 2311 Racing a year early? We don't know any of that. I just find it kind of interesting that around about the time you find out Tyler Reddick is leaving Richard Childress Racing is around about the same time you find out Ty Dillon, who is Childress's grandson, is leaving Petty GMS Racing. Any thoughts on the race or the silly season stuff, please feel free to let me know. NASCAR Cup Series racing returns this Sunday afternoon at Pocono, which has always been one of my favorite racetracks. A lot of folks don't like it. I think I like it because it's 3 turns, the only track that's 3 turns. Of course, they call it the Tricky Triangle, but I'm looking forward to the race. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. It really takes guts to be an organ donor. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.